Hey there everybody, Wayne D here. Welcome to the website. It's WayneD.com. This is Matt Sawyer. Matt came up for the first time this week. He's been a member of the website for a while and a student of the game. Uh, he said I saw him many years ago, but he's kind of been on his own working on it and decided to come up and see me. So watching him hit the ball, I just could see it for an 11 handicap. He had very nice motion, pretty good setup, good grip. But as far as having confidence in his swing mechanics and what he was doing, he just needed some opinions and guidance to see if he could find a way to get better. So let's watch this a little slower, and I'll tell you what I thought of pretty much right away. As I watched the takeaway, I saw the club staying fairly low to the ground and the right arm folding in to the right side immediately. So we don't have much width. We've got the face a little bit on the shut side. And you can see it because the proximity to that right arm to the side. You can see that right wrist will set the club. So we got a lot of wrist cock at left arm parallel. And we don't get much of any space or height underneath that right arm, so we're not really coiling the body up and using the pivot the way we would like to. And then as we watch the club start down, that telltale internal rotation of the right shoulder where the forearm's going to tip over. So the shaft, he does a nice job with the shaft, but the right arm is going to be in a weakened position heading into the ball. So we get some flippiness in there, but you can see why he can still hit it, can still play. If we look at the pivot, if you look at the body, we're going to try to get him a little more centered, which would put him a little more to the right at address. He did say he had dabbled in some stack and tilt with an instructor he took some lessons from, and it's probably left over from that, where he is setting up a little too much on the left side, but he does move into the right. When we see him come forward, we don't see very much in the way of lateral push, which is something that we'll eventually try to get into. So my idea was to see if we could get the hands and arms to come more outward, get the shaft up on the plane, and really work on getting some width in the swing, and eventually get this left arm angled more up. So we want that left shoulder down, hands up. Just want to get him to where he can feel like he's using his pivot more and stretching out. His feeling, as he explained it, was that he was pretty jammed up coming into the ball. So this is what we did. We talked about it. I moved him around a little bit, so he did a stop and go, trying to get some stretch. So at P2 we wanted more space from the grip to his right leg. So we got that. Recommended that we keep the chin up so that the shoulder could get underneath it. So at left arm parallel, we did not want to have the shaft appearing to be bent back so much. So we managed to do that. And then at the top, we wanted it higher. And you can see that the left arm is looking way different there. So that was the important thing. I told him that this was going to be, this is more of a backswing lesson. If he was going to do anything in the forward swing, it was just going to be to try to drive a little bit more weight to the left earlier in the downswing. But like I said, his strong suit is arcing that club into the ball, closing the face, and getting it around. So I think once we get this backswing up here, we'll be well on our way, because you can see just how different that is. And then when we go to get him to feel it, so this was on his own, you're on the right, on the left there. Now I'm going to come in and help him out a little bit. So I'm going to stretch this thing out even a little more here. And I'm going to keep that shoulder down. You can see I'm constantly trying to get him not to pop that shoulder up, because you can imagine once that thing gets real flat, the shoulder turn is just not going to feel as steep as I'm trying to get it to feel here. So there he is. And then from down the line, it's the original one on the left. This is the stop and go on the right. So you'll notice, you can barely see it, but there's a little T I stuck in the end of the grip here. And the idea is to, as you take the club away, we're talking one piece takeaway here, where the T is going to stay visually in between the forearms for a little bit as he starts the club away. So watch the difference in these two takeaways here. And then as he tries to stretch the club up onto the plane, that's way different. So we talked about our progressions. So we started here at 53, we went up to 58, and then at the top he went up to 61. So that's 5 and a 3. So we're going to take a look at that mid P3 position where the handle's going to be much more in front. Big difference. So Matt really enjoyed watching that top of the swing. Immediately said, boy, how much better does that look? And the good thing about a stop and go is that you're actually going to take that position and use it to hit a ball with. So you've got to, it's very important that you don't just stand in a mirror making swings and looking at them. If you can get it up there and then hit the ball, then it becomes a more effective drill. But it is a good idea to continue to work, even if you're indoors, inside, work in the mirror, just to get used to the feeling. So this is now going to be, I'm going to help him exaggerate it a little bit like I did before. I'm going to stretch out the takeaway. Now I'm not worried about the club face with him because it was so flat before. It's going to feel way different, so we'll just have to see what happens when he gets this going here. So you can see I'm constantly just trying to give him a little bit of pressure here to keep that angle in the shoulders. So a tiny bit different of his own stop and go, and you see the most thing is that if I walked over here, I'd just try to grind that shoulder down a little bit. But we take that and compare it to this. And now we got something new to play around with. All right.